All right, this is a cool question because the listener asking this question comes from Todd Atkins' Universe of Shows, which Deeks Dojo does too. So yeah, brother, I'd love to answer that question for you. I know you've done a couple videos about Mark Kerr recently. I watched the movie. I thought it was great. Very human look at life, right? Like I think any big macho athlete type guy can relate to Kerr's relationship with that girl. Anybody can relate to it with that girl, right? That's kind of life itself, and how we react to it will determine what the outcome is. Now, I think we got to be really careful. What we're comparing what was the opening era of MMA to the modern era of MMA, and I understand the fascination with doing that and the reason, right? Like, look, Cyril Gahn went out so quickly against John Jones, it looked like a fixed fight, right? Like my jiu-jitsu instructor, 6'3" black belt, even said, you don't shake your head, you get put against the cage. He just seemed to slump in the corner and go down and get subbed by a 10-finger guillotine, and it didn't look real, for lack of a better word. But listen, I'm the first one to tell you, fighting, you can have a bad night. You can get in there and you'd be subbed by, your little brother. It's just, you're not there. You don't put it all together on that night. That's why they say fighting is all mental. So, putting that aside for a minute, I think it's very difficult to compare one era to another, right? A lot of the early guys were lucky enough to come around when other people did not have experience. Mark Kerr, what was his luck? Look, Mark Kerr was a gigantic buff wrestler, right? The wrestling gave him the cardio to even be able to compete. Although he did have somewhat problems with that, as we saw in the movie, and of course in his real fights in Japan with that cardio. Why? Because he's so muscle bound. And this is a long way of coming full circle of saying that Mark Kerr was way too muscle bound to be an effective fighter at the elite level. Now, for the time he was in, he did just fine. I mean, if he didn't have drug problems, he probably would have been UFC champion, and we all know that. But Cyril Gahn is a modern incarnation of that, but he's a kickboxer. So I think it would have been a really bad matchup for Mark Kerr against Cyril Gahn. We already saw Cyril Gahn use lateral movement to confuse the hell out of Tom Aspinall. So I think it would be a really easy fight for Cyril Gahn, given the generational gap, given the style differentials. But I understand why you even asking the question. Number one, Kerr is getting a lot of fame right now from that movie, and then on top of it, the way Cyril Gahn went out against John Jones. But no, brother, I don't think so. I think Mark Kerr's got to live in Mark Kerr's era. We got to leave him there. There it is. In fact, I'll tell you my White House picks next video. Everybody like and follow for more on the fight.